Do you love sim racing but also have a full-time job, a loving wife, girlfriend or children? In this video I will talk about how to be most efficient with your time management and also talk about some tactics that I use to get the most out of my sim racing time. I'm only driving like 4 hours a week, and I can be a competitive sim racing using these 4 pillars where I'm gonna talk about in this video. Take note, some ideas are completely new. I never seen them connected to sim racing anywhere else. So let's get into it. Let me tell you a little bit of a story how my normal workday goes. The alarm clock goes at 5:30. I wake up, get in the car, half an hour, get on the job, and then it will be like 7 o'clock. Start working, have break time, work a bit, break, work again. 4 o'clock I'm finished, I'm half an hour in the car, picking the kids up from daycare, play with them because I absolutely love them, and then I need to cook them some proper dinner. Then the lady comes home, she also has a 30-hour work week. Then we play some more, then we bring them to bed, then they wake up almost every time because they want to play around more, then we put them to bed again, and then it's 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Now the important question you need to ask yourself, do you still have energy left to race and be competitive? And a lot of times I do have the energy, and that's because I love this patch, this sports, this hobby so much. If you have a healthy amount of obsession, you will find the energy for it. You will work towards it. If you have nothing left in your day, like a busy day that I can have, like I was just explaining here, you can just pass out on a couch, watch some Netflix, scroll memes and pass out. But not for me. I go on the rig and do a couple of laps, like practice my next pit skill race on the Watkins Glen, for instance. Now, you have your obsession, the first pillar. The second pillar is gonna be the family support. I just asked my lady that, listen woman, I really want to get into this hobby. I really enjoy this. Can I have 2 evenings in a night? And then I'd rather not be distracted. So she agreed with this and she said, you know what, let's do it. She also has her thing, so when I'm in a rig, I don't get disturbed. I can fully focus. And I think that's very important. If you constantly have your wife screaming at you or your kids coming in your cave when you're competitively racing in online lobbies, I mean, it's impossible. You need your full focus on track. You cannot get distracted while you're racing. Now the third pillar is going to be the time. So 4 hours, I'm not talking about 4 hours straight in a row. I really feel the competitiveness is very important with the sim racing. Yeah, you can race a bit, but I want to be competitive, and I really think 4 hours should be divided in 2 or 3 blocks. And I'm saying 4 hours, but sometimes it's an hour more. Let's say now I'm practicing Watkins Glen. Friday, I hopefully have an hour. Yeah, I will go to the lady and say, listen woman, 1 hour, and then we'll be back. And then we have a nice barbecue or whatever, or something else fun to do. And then maybe on Monday, I will do another hour of practice. And then I already optimizing the setup in the next practice session. And then it's gonna be live stream on Wednesday. And then we gonna drive like 2 hours, and that's gonna be the 4 hours of that week. Now, a little bit of a side note, it's important to have a little bit less of an expectation what you're gonna do, because I know that if I keep, like last race we did Hungaroring, if I keep practicing and racing and practicing and racing, I will squeeze out a little bit of more lap time, but I really feel like I get diminishing results with this. Like if you spend 6 hours on something, like on I don't know, you put like bricks on a wall. If you do that for 6 hours, the wall will be 6 times bigger than you did it for 1 hour. But with sim racing, it's a little bit different. If you do 1 hour of like intensely sim racing, you need a break. Yeah, hour, 2 hours, you need to do something else and go back at it later. So I really feel the short bursts are a great and important pillar for the competitiveness in this manner. Now the fourth pillar is a little bit of maybe a controversial one, or it's a little bit unspoken. A lot of people didn't speak about this pillar and connected it with sim racing, and I will say it is your health. How good is your health? If you're eating junk food all the time, if you're drinking alcohol all the time, and as a baseline you're just consuming a lot of junk in general, if you think that that doesn't affect your inputs and muscle memory and nervous system, you're absolutely wrong. Let me tell you a little story. When my second child was born, I was like eating junk all the time and drinking alcohol, and it was very hard for me to focus, and it was also very like I also didn't have a lot of energy in the evening times. And then when the second son was born, the nights got a lot shorter again, and then I definitely didn't have the energy anymore to race in the evening. Now the health part and the food and the fitness that I'm doing, and I'm only doing like very limited, like minimalistic fitness, and I'm like fasting all the time, and this is just like makes me so focused and allows me to have so much energy through the day, picking up projects, sim racing, family, racing, you know, all of it I can do because I'm a pretty good state health-wise. So now I want to get into some tactics, because obviously you want to have the foundations, like you want to have the support from your family, you want to have decent health, you want to have a healthy amount of obsession, and you want to have the family support you. So that's, I think, very important. Now we get into some tactics that I use to save some time in the simulator. When you're at work or you're in traffic, a lot of people see this as downtime, but I actually see this as an opportunity. So let's say I want to have a tutorial about Moza. Yeah, I will search up a video up on YouTube, I will go sit in a car, and it will tell me everything about the settings of this base. Yeah, so I do an hour commuting every day, so I get an hour of information on, let's say, a Moza steering wheel or pedals or some software optimization for my PC. And currently now with the streaming setup and audio stuff that I need to figure out, this is all done in the commute time. Really, I search out the playlist and then I'll just go. Then also in the break time with my colleagues, they are more concerned with which politics are gonna destroy the country. They're also concerned with how much alcoholic beverages they consumed last weekend, and a lot of other like stuff I really couldn't care less about. So I'm a bit of a boring colleague. I'm in my phone on the Discord, checking out the latest news, checking out the best like setup changes you can make. If you do all of this stuff outside of sim racing, and then the next time you're in a rig, you know which wing settings you need to pick, you know the tire pressures, you know what track temperature is gonna be, you know the settings on your steering wheel because you already looked up on the internet how to change certain things. That's gonna be vital for your 4-hour sim racing career, because yeah, you need to, like, you can say I'm racing for hours, but especially when you're on PC, there's a lot of hours you can lose on like messing around with settings or force feedback settings or controls, graphic optimizations. Don't get me started, man. Now, another hack that I used to use and still using, but now they're my own and I can quite build them quickly, but for everyone who can't build them that quickly, I would really get into buying or using setups from somebody else instead of making them yourself. I really like the buying part of it. I used to use Coach Dave Academy a lot, and it's still, even though I'm not really using that anymore, I think it's still a great app because it allows now, I believe, the tire pressures So you go on track and it immediately adjusts the tire pressures to the track temperatures, and that's really a time hack I enjoy. You know, those time hacks are really valuable. And for the rest, check out my Patreon store for the level setups. They are especially good for beginners because you have a level 1 leading up to 2, 3, 4 and 5. And the 5 level setups, this allows you to go into more advanced setups and will allow you to grow into sim racing better and also learn setups better like this. We have a lot of cars. I'm currently working on the BMW to make a pack for that as well. So check them out down below. Another tactic, I would say, or more like an explanation how I get into like a race. So let's say we have an 8-hour or like 9 o'clock low fuel motorsport race of a 45 minutes. This is how I basically do it. So the kids are asleep, it's 8 o'clock, maybe something like that. I will go into the rig 8:15 and start getting my level preset setup that I use for that particular track. Drive a couple of laps, see if there's a little bit of mistake in the setup, drive a couple of more laps in the practice session, and that will be it. That's it. Then I take like 15 minutes break, have a tea, then another 15 minutes of practice, and then I will go into the race. Now, sometimes I don't really feel confident, like I'm like a little bit lacking the pace, or I'm a little bit too slow, or there's some other problem with my setup or something, and I will just do the races anyways. And then sometimes I get an elo hit or maybe something else goes wrong in the race, but at least I did the race and I'm gonna learn from this. And learning this kind of like, also this, not this perfect races, obviously you want to know the track, you want to not go off basically. So the most important I feel is like, if you can drive the track without going off, you're fit to do the races. Yeah, even if you're super slow, do the races. You're gonna gain so much more experience from races than practice sessions. So absolutely keep doing that. Now, this video is already taken up too long, but I have actually a pretty good system into building your career in sim racing. I really advise you to watch this other video next, where I explain in which car, like how you can pick a car for a season and learning all the different tracks and the whole system behind it basically. Thanks for watching.